That's right. Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And Blue Dragon 5.
Hey, and
In
I'm
the,
LazerDude.
in the wake of Disney's big venture into the world of streaming, even courting a war in the process, we thought it'd be nice to stay up to date on the ever-growing catalog and rule on what's a must and a bust on Disney Plus. And folks, man oh man, get your dark sabers ready. We're here to talk about the return of the Mandalorian. Oh boy.
Ta-da.
We got Donovan Martin in the comics, fired up and ready to go. We got Aid March, LazerDude. How the heck are you, man?
I'm doing good. Although, guys, I will say I think I think my Disney Plus is a little glitched out. I didn't get the next episode of the Book of Boba Fett. I somehow got a sneak preview as the next season of the Mandalorian, but I'm sure we'll get through all of that as we go on. I'm just joking. But yeah, no, I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Right. Yeah, of course, for those who don't know, LazerDude covered a variety of episodes of Survivor with us last season. Not episodes, but arcs. Yes. On the Survivor Storytellers podcast. I believe you did the merge and the finale, something like that.
I came on halfway, and then the show dropped in quality right after that. But we don't need to go.
Honestly, that's kind of accurate. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not my fault. I jinxed it.
But we got Atomic Beast. He says hi guys and Mr. LazerDude.
Oh, I'm glad
they call me Mr. LazerDude.
Mr. LazerDude's his father.
No, he's Mr. Laser Geezer.
All right, so LazerDude, congratulations! You made the one obligatory. This is a really good episode of the Mandalorian joke. Great way to break in the conversation.
I figured I needed to jump the laser blaster before anyone else did.
Indeed. Dragon, how are you this evening?
I'm well.
All right. Sounds good. We'll just get right into it. So I guess I'll start. Guys, I think the thing with me in these episodes, beyond just the whole but Boba Fett's not in it, and it's called the Book of Boba Fett, is I don't know whether or not I'm supposed to be really excited for these characters. Like the metaverse of it all, the expanded universe is kind of really getting a little complicated for me as far as some of these characters go. But I am really liking it as far as the style, and I've got to give it up. Let's give it up for Bryce Dallas Howard, because I mean she is the person of the hour here. Everyone, I mean, she knocked it out of the park.
All right. Of course. And I know that, some people might complain that this is an episode of The Mandalorian, but I'm like, did we stop liking The Mandalorian? I didn't, so...
Yeah, that's so the frustrating thing about this episode is that it is a good episode because it's wonderful, but not really a Boba Fett episode. So, I mean, it's like the annoying thing of, this... does it live up to the namesake of the show? No, but is it a wonderful Mandalorian episode? Of course it is. I mean, it's I'd say it's part of a slow build, but with only 3 episodes left now, too, I'm a little worried. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little more worried than I was last week. Again, I'm entertained, but I'm worried.
All right, Tom B says, so many things to say about the episode. Looking forward to the discussion. All right. Go ahead, LazerDude. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say that the reason that I think that it's interesting is while there has been a lot happening in these flashbacks in the Book of Boba Fett, there hasn't been a whole lot actually happening in the main story that's been going on. It's like all you can say is every episode, Boba Fett just gathers more people to his side, whether it's the bikers, whether it's a Rancor, whether it's you know, the Wookiee who I can't
Chris Satan.
remember, but this one, it's like it's all of that and doesn't even have Boba Fett at all, but it's good. I really like this episode, probably the most out of all of them,
which is so weird.
I like this Star Wars. Yeah, I like that Star Wars when it embraces the stuff in the prequels, but makes it still fun again. Like that whole scene where they're getting that Naboo starfighter and revamping it and making it into its own thing. I love that. And I love the reason for it because it's off the books. It's totally because it's pre Empire days. It doesn't have anything for it, but they revamp and make it its own thing. Those scenes I like. I like when Star Wars can include all of it, but still, you know, not just try to ignore the parts that some people don't like. Just makes it a complete whole.
Dragon.
Yes. So yeah. Again, I just kind of summarize my thoughts here. Where again, it is just ridiculously kind of frustrating, and that again, it's just kind of it's a disruption to the Boba Fett story. But again, I have no compunction with the slow build, but only giving this season 7 episodes with like taking an offshoot episode like this, which again is going to factor into things. I'm sure. I'm sure it's going to impress. Like we're promising a really spectacular finale, and I'm not saying it can't deliver on that, but it just feels like we need to kind of get as much Boba Fett as we can, as we kind of took the leap of like, okay, we're really taking our time and getting the flashback stories underway, and I think we did a good job of that. So long as we then get back on track with okay, so now we're gathering the forces, and then we're gonna we're in the midst of war. Like last episode hit Boba Fett as kind of a mobster on Tatooine, as the new daimyo and everything really well, and it's kind of hit what the mission statement of the show is, and now again I'm absolutely with LazerDude, and I love building the forces. I love again, that was one of my favorite things about episode 3. Like, oh god, in an instant he took the street gang and he made him into a kind of his entourage, like Jabba had. So we're seeing him kind of piece by piece build up his crew, which I'm loving. So yeah, it's definitely, again, it's just now it's more ambitious and more of an ambitious like kind of sell in a show where people have been really divided on it for reasons, again, basically saying, well, Boba Fett's going through a transition, so it's not the OG Boba Fett we all wanted, which I'd argue, again, well, it's him out of the Starlight Pit, so he's a different character, which is kind of the point. So I don't know, but I mean, to the Mandalorian of it all, again, this is absolutely, it went a different direction than I thought. I was thinking very straightforward with Boba Fett season 3. I was thinking, okay, so he's still on that ship that we ended after we took Baby Yoda away. He's on that ship and there's heading to Mandalore. That's what I thought it was going to be a very straight line. But like, okay, we took this episode and mainly set up Mandalorian season 3, but also set up like, okay, well, we're kind of flip flopping it here. We're okay. Mando introduced Boba Fett like in his big season, and we've kind of reversed it here. Okay, so now we're it's vice versa. Mando's showing up for like an episode or two, much like Boba Fett did in season 2 for him. That's kind of cute.
The one thing that I wonder about this is, do you guys think that, like, I think back to when they were writing The Force Awakens and how they talked about that they had to keep Luke out of it, or J.J. Abrams said, I had to keep Luke out of it because every time he showed up, I just made him the main character again. Do you think it's going to be hard to have, like, Din be now the secondary character? Because I feel like he's just such a compelling presence. I find it hard to find him to be, like, now the secondary character.
Well, I'm sure people are going to want us to bring this up, but I assume what's going to happen, I think the way they're going to circumvent that, LazerDude, is Boba Fett. Boba Fett is going to be our next episode, because I don't think, as some people are fearing and some people are probably predicting, that okay, next episode is going to be like part 2 of this because he's got to pick up a little friend. I think we know who that is. I think it's going to be we've set up that he's going to be helping out Boba Fett. He's going to swoop in like Han Solo with Baby Yoda in the little kind of droid pod, little kind of astromech dome, like every toyetic it's the most toyetic design ever of that of that Nabooian a fighter. Like, okay, it's literally built for Baby Yoda to show up there. No other passenger can go in that thing but Baby Yoda. It's got to be him. So I think that's how we're going to avoid that. It's just he's going to swoop in as like the big kind of ace in the hole to help save the day. But in the finale, which is proposed to be bombastic. How more bombastic can you get than most likely Baby Yoda and Mando showing up, and Baby Yoda's probably wearing like a helmet or some Mandalorian armor.
Right.
Right?
Okay. I just want to say it was a really cute touch that I don't know how they made the bundle of whatever they made out of the thing for Grogu that it looked like him. Like
they tied it so it looks like the ears. Yeah, it was cute.
It totally did, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's great. Anyway,
it's funny. I didn't catch that till the second viewing. Like, oh yeah, it looks like the little ears.
Okay, we have that guy coming in. He says, maybe it's little baby Boba Fett.
Yeah, I would think that wouldn't it be interesting if Boba Fett got himself a clone kid?
Really?
I know
Boba
it's like
Fett getting a
I don't
clone
know
kid?
if I don't know too much about the whole Star Wars lore. Like I think Kamino's like pretty much wiped off the face of the map. But if anybody knew like any secret locations or something where maybe they had like a secret cloning chamber, I think Boba Fett could have figured that out or something like that. But it's probably not. They don't want to have two different shows with the Mandalorian with a baby.
Well, LazerDude, let me ask you something. Have you seen the Bad Batch animated show by chance?
I started watching it a little bit. I didn't finish it. I felt like I was missing a lot just because I hadn't watched the Clone Wars, and I want to get around to watching Clone Wars again. Like I watched like a few episodes, and then I wasn't really into it. But I know it's one of those shows that takes a little bit, and then you are really into it after a while. So I want to get back into it. I just haven't found the time.
I'll tell you one thing. I really wish they would reveal whether or not I don't know. Maybe it's like an obvious thing, and I'm taking like the earnest approach here because it's like maybe we should judge shows by a case basis. But assuming like, hey, we're getting another season of Book of Boba Fett, I think that would assuage any worry I have right now. But also would make me think, yeah, if we're gonna do that sort of thing, it'll be with the Omega character. I won't talk too much about the Omega character because if you ever choose to go back to that LazerDude, but let's just say big ties to Boba Fett that would definitely be worth exploring in a season 2. I mean, chances are they're going to work that character. If not there, then probably in the Ahsoka show. One way or another, that character is probably going to be.
Well, I know she's like a clone.
Action. Yeah, that's exactly. So there's a story with that clone.
I saw that far.
Well, there you go. So that's a thing.
But yeah. Anyways, I think it's an interesting thing because, like, what would you guys say have been your pros and cons of the show so far, like up to this point?
Tiki?
I think pros is honestly episode 2.
Yeah, he's been really digging the Tusken Raiders stuff.
Yeah.
So I guess like the deep dives into the obscure Star Wars culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the pro and con for me, again, as I mentioned, I love just like seeing him kind of figure out the daimyo thing, and I love that we had that payoff last episode. And I mean, in general, I like that I like the relationship between the flashbacks to that, seeing him like the leadership potential in like how we kind of helped out the Sand People in that episode, and how we kind of struck a deal with the Pikes, which seemingly. So I'm going to be a betting man here and saying the Pikes didn't like that deal, so they killed the Sand People and framed the bikers. That's what I think happened.
That's my guess too. I like it's too obvious. Like, oh yeah, these bikers, they did it. Yeah.
We pulled a Batman Beyond there. It has to be. So regardless, I ultimately the only con I really have with the show, because I've been loving it, for me is. I think people have been blowing this a little bit more out of proportion, but it's ridiculously. On its face, it has been noticeable where we had to depower Boba Fett up front to kind of send him on the humbling journey. Some people, I think, Tiki, you might have pulled this. I don't know if you pulled it for Boba Fett or for a different thing we talked about recently. You kind of pulled the video game analogy where you go into a different video game, you have to kind of start from zero again to build yourself up.
Yeah, for sure.
So with that in mind, it's kind of like we reintroduced Boba Fett through the Robert Rodriguez episode in Mando season 2 wonderfully, where he's kicking the crap out of stormtroopers once he regains the armor, and it's awesome. So we start there, so we know. He's good at the hand-to-hand combat and everything, not just a long-range guy. So when he's taken out by guys with essentially Wakandan energy shields at the top in episode 1, it's like, man, that we sent them to that chamber for our framing device awfully fast, and then like a little rabbit droid's giving him trouble.
You have a jetpack.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like those moments that's the only negative I really have of the show. Where at times we've kind of set them back so we can get our framing device up and running, which is a good framing device. Just feels like, man, we really we have overcorrected to put it in nobody terms.
I get that. I think the thing is we didn't get too much stuff of just seeing Boba Fett wreck crap. Just like we see Mandalorian, and I don't want to spend too much time comparing it to the Mandalorian, but the first episode of the Mandalorian, he goes to a bar, kills a bunch of people, takes his bounty away. He's a bad arse. You see it right there. Boba Fett has been like attacked and on the defensive the whole time, this whole show. And like he hasn't had a moment where he's just like walks in, kills a bunch of people, walks out, and doesn't even flinch, And so the flashback, I have no problem with that. The guy just went through a flippin' Sarlacc pit. But I would say I would like some more moments where he's just like on the offensive. And the one time where he was the biker chase episode. And I'm just saying, guys, that might be one of the most embarrassing chase sequences I have ever seen.
LazerDude, I'm totally with you. I'm totally on board. I voiced the same sentiments when that happened. I was like, this is dragging out for so long, and the special effects are so lame. And why?
Again, I say that happened because they had no climax with the episodes. So we had to stretch it out. We had to well, we kind of started.
Look at him get away.
Yeah.
Is this like, okay? Is this like he's going, and it's so like slow, and it's just like, and then they just take the guy, and then nothing really happens with it. I don't know. I guess it's because the villains, I haven't really found them menacing. Like the only ones I thought had potential to be was the Hutts. Like they had a grand entrance and then left, and then they had
literally just like peace out.
Yeah, then they just left.
This is my worry that with 3 episodes left, now 2, the Pikes we haven't really done anything with the Pikes outside of reputation.
Okay, Dragon, I'm glad you bring that up. I don't have an issue with this episode not having Boba in it. I have an issue with this episode not building up the Pikes.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The only buildup we've really had of the Pikes, honestly, period, if we're being frank. It's just period. But again, if you're going as not really knowing the Pikes, it's going to be an even worse problem.
I am that person. I am that person that's going in not even knowing the Pikes.
That's what I'm saying, Tiki.
I don't know Jack.
So Tiki knows about half as much as I know about the Pikes, and that's not saying much even, because all I know about the Pikes is what's they were in Solo briefly, which is what Tiki knows because he saw that. But I mean, I think they were sprinkled through Clone Wars, mainly the last season, and/or the Bad Batch is the most I've gotten out of the Pikes, honestly. So that said, that's still not a lot to know about these guys, and the whole shtick with them is that they're very intimidating and they run the spice trade. That is what the whole Kessel run's about. So that's all we know is the Pikes are just menacing. We don't really know why they're menacing. They're menacing.
I think they're menacing. Phantom Menace. Guys, I want to get into some comments. We've had a lot of comments. I love you all. Oh my god. It's been blowing up. I'm sorry.
Start us somewhere. Go on.
All right. So Casey says, Is
that Casey, our Star Wars guy? Casey?
Yes, our Star Wars guy, Casey. Casey, the Star Wars guy / Prometheus web series host. Check him out. YouTube Prometheus web series. All right. Casey says, also, with his ship, where's he supposed to put his bounty?
I'm glad he brought that up. So first of all, R.I.P. the Razor Crest. Nothing will ever replace it. I love that ship, and that was really the tragedy of that episode. We know Boba Fett. We know Baby Yoda's going to be okay, but we don't know. What's not okay? What's gone forever? The Razor Crest.
I remember I was watching these guys react.
You're still not over it, right?
I'm not over it.
No, I just bought the model.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Seriously, the Razor Crest was a beautiful ship. and now it's gone.
Oh God!
And now you're trying to upsell me on the Boo guard
Well,
thing?
I personally appreciated the Phantom Menace references, and they were kind of my favorite part.
Which, by the way,
being honest,
from what I understand, I'm sure you might have picked up on this, Diggy. From what I understand, that is supposed to be the one Anakin used to destroy the kind of the pseudo Death Star in, in Phantom Menace.
yeah. The baby's first Death Star.
Yeah, that whole like the donut thing. Yeah,
spinning. That's a cool trick.
That's a cool trick.
No, but seriously,
and it is, and I also like that we get the basically the same exact run that he went on with the pod race. I thought that was really cool.
So here's the thing in regards to like the whole downgrade from the Razor. In all seriousness, here's where I'm at on. I have to think it's a deliberate choice in that we're kind of slowly but surely retiring Mando from bounty hunting. That's what I think is going on there.
Oh yeah.
I think
he has a mission now.
Yeah.
It's to take back Mandalore because, and I thought like once he had taken his helmet off, he just accepted that he was never going to be part of his old cult again. But now without Grogu, he doesn't really have any other place left, and so now they have a mission to go and take back Mandalore, and I'm sure that will unite him back with the other Mandalorians. But now they're going to be at heads with or helmets with each other because different viewpoints of what qualifies you to be a Mandalorian.
So speaking of that, Lee, just to kind of just bridge off into that, because I'm sure this is another big point of the episode. So
there's also a lot of comments, Dragon.
Well, all right. You want to just okay? We'll put a pin in it. Just read. Hit us with something.
Dragon, I don't know what to tell you. There's a lot of comments.
Well, I know there's comments, but I imagine we're going to hit this later on within the comments. But by all means, throw some topics at us and we'll tell.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to introduce Dragon. I just want to introduce Super Billy.
Yeah.
He says, "What's up, fellas? Haven't watched all of your Book of Boba Fett recaps till now, so I was wondering if you guys agree with the main criticisms that have been levied towards the show, namely the in his words, radical and poorly justified changes to Fett's character, not taking advantage of central premise, and poor emotional execution overall." Okay, Super Billy, like I said, I'm a really big fan of episode 2, and every other episode for me has kind of like bordered on like good to okay. So that's where I'm at with it. Like, I certainly don't think it's as good as either Mandalorian season, but I also don't think it's as bad as something like The Rise of Skywalker either. You know what I mean?
No.
It's perfectly serviceable. So I don't know. And as far as the depictions of Boba Fett, like I think Boba Fett was always kind of like a character where, he's like you really don't see all that much of him in the original trilogy at all. So you kind of like, you have a little bit of a clean slate. So I actually really like the characterization they've done with him. Like I said, that's honestly the character work in particular is kind of why I like episode 2 so much. Dragon?
Yeah, I mean, again, we already kind of spoke to this, but just to kind of give you something a little new here, it's that, yeah, I do really, so far, I've kind of applauded the show for the solution of, okay, well, obviously, if we just dedicate like every episode to it, as cool as this also could have been cool, but also would have bordered on something really dangerous. And that if we take a stance on this, is Boba Fett's been around, he's built up such all this speculation over the years in the expanded universe stuff, like how cool he is, and everyone having to fill in the blanks because the movies didn't, about what kind of stuff that he's done. You're going to get bogged down by taking stances on this is what Boba Fett did do and what he should have done and what we have now done with him, and we would have gotten away from what the main point of the show is, which again is like him post the pit. So I like that our flashbacks have been dedicated to kind of filling in the gaps of, because nothing's ever going to measure up to what the imagined adventures that have happened, in the past of him building up the reputation. So I like that we've circumvented that with like the past that we tangibly can fill in and then see. And I think what I'm hoping is going to happen, just to bridge into what I think the next episode is going to be, I think what we're going to do to maybe parallel the first season of The Mandalorian a little bit is we put Mando in a bit of a similar situation where we talked up Mando's past as a bounty hunter with the prison episode, which I really liked. I think what we're going to do, and what might satiate a lot of people, might turn some heads perhaps, is that if we're building a crew on the Boba Fett side of things, it'll be with the familiar bounty hunters like the Dengars and the Nabosk, and perhaps that's where we get a little bit like we're rebuilding the lineup that we had in Empire. Obviously not IG 11 or 88 because we've done them already, and I believe in that deleted scene for Empire we killed them, so we don't want to do that. But it's just the fact I think that's how we're going to kind of say, yeah, we haven't really delved into the classic bounty hunter Boba Fett, and this is how we're going to be able to talk about it without just like detracting our story for like a whole flashback episode again. That's where I'm at on it. So I'm fine with it so far, and I would like to kind of maybe reference it in a way that's going to be privy to our story.
Hey, Dragon, I have a word for the Book of Boba Fett that I think would sum it up really well. You want to know what that word is?
Facetiousness?
Mediocre.
Ooh, he shot that blaster. Shots fired. Yeah.
Right. Mediocre.
Yeah.
All right.
Like
anyways.
you took, I was laying a lot of
I didn't get a chance
to cut it down with mediocre. So yeah,
I didn't get a chance to say. Well, I think the problem for most people, and this is why I think that a lot of people probably do have a problem with this. And I haven't checked into anything. I'm just getting the vibe of whatever I feel. And I think the problem is with Boba Fett being the background character, all he needed to be was badass. You know, as the background character, that is all you require to be. You show up, you look cool, you shoot a couple of blaster bolts, you say a couple of badass lines, and then you walk away. That's all you need to do.
Yeah, you get it.
But as a main character, now all of a sudden we need to see the story through your eyes, and they need to be relatable. Now, relatable doesn't necessarily mean good. You don't have to be a good person to be relatable. Like Walter White's not a good person, but you still relate to his struggles and wants and desires. It's that sort of thing. But I believe for Disney, a lot of times it does make them have to be somewhat good. And so Boba Fett is all about respect now, when part of us wants him to just like this, when this guy's like, oh, where's your tribute for the mayor? Why aren't you giving me tribute? Part of us just wants Boba Fett to shoot him and then throw him in the Rancor pit, even though there's no Rancor in there at that episode. You know what I mean? It's like people want Boba Fett to be the badass again, and that'd be it. And Disney wants him to still be something that your kids can really somewhat look up to, so they don't want him to be they want him to be more of a respectable. And to be fair, they justify it. I can justify seeing Boba Fett going through this whole traumatic experience, realizing that it's led to absolute disaster, and then he finds a family that he wants to, at least go with the Tusken Raiders. I love, honestly, all the flashback stuff. If it was just that, this whole show was just that, I'd actually probably rank a little higher than mediocre. I'd say pretty good. But it's not just about that. It's also about the other stuff. And because of that, since Boba Fett's not just being badass, bang, bang, that's it, and we would have to do more with that, I feel like some people are feeling at a loss because they're not getting the character that they felt like they knew.
Yeah, basically it's a step above Disney's anti-hero problem they've had with like Cruella and stuff like that, where it's like we have to force no, we can't have villains, we can't have bad.
We can have villains as long as they're fighting someone who's even more evil.
Exactly. So, I think unless there's anything else you want to, do you have any Mando specific stuff?
That guy says, I mean, let's be honest, this show is fine, but it's not Paul Blart Mall Cop in terms of badass. No, let's see. I'm sorry, guys. I feel bad just because y'all were dropping really good comments throughout the night, and I it was just starting to keep up with them all.
For people who might know a little bit more about little Star Wars than I do. What was the thing with the Darksaber being heavier the more you use it? Has that been a thing before?
Well, that's I don't think they've talked about it.
I saw it in Rebels, and I never saw that being a thing with why am I blanking on her name?
Sabine? Oh wait,
Sabine,
you mean Bo-Katan?
So either or. I never saw that a thing with Sabine of her like not being able to wield it because it got heavy.
Well, unfortunately, my blind spot is the back half of Rebels because I've not gotten there yet because I'm waiting for the Ahsoka show to watch that so I can be like, oh, I'm all caught up now. I'm a big boy. I got it. But I'm all caught up. I ate my homework veggies. But no, I'm not sure. Honestly, I'm assuming it's like a retroactive thing of like, well, we never said it wasn't heavy, and perhaps it's like some people leaned into like what the dark saber means, knowing all about it beforehand. Maybe that's why it came easy to them. I don't know. I think it's
maybe because she trained with a Jedi. She was able to not have that. It was more at one with the blade that Din wasn't.
Quite possibly, and that's the thing. So I think something we're setting up for with the Baby Yoda of it all, but I meant to mention this earlier, just in terms of the whole Jedi Mando kind of connecting point. I think that's going to be kind of our chosen one sort of prophecy. I think Baby Yoda, I think Grogu is going to be the answer to ending the Mandalorian Jedi feud. I mean, he already kind of was with Luke Skywalker appearing and everything, but I think ultimately he's our end game with season 3 of Mando. I think is going to be Baby Yoda. I don't know if necessarily wielding the dark saber or not, but mainly Baby Yoda being like part Jedi and he's a foundling Mando. In that we set up that the thing that annoyed me through season 2 of Mando, as much as I love that season, is that we gave Baby Yoda that little necklace that's going to let him into a covert, but we never did that. So he just has that necklace and we never did anything with it. So I'm convinced that's going to pay off in season 3, where the whole thing is with this armor or whatever, chainmail or whatever he's going to be gifted by Mando. That's going to be the end result being he's trained as a Jedi, but is a foundling by definition. So that means it's been 1,000 years since we've had a Jedi Mandalorian or whatever you want to kind of label that as. So that's going to be kind of the end of that story, which I think is a really clever idea if they follow through with that. Quite possibly, it could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I would totally be into like next Star Wars franchise is like a few hundred years after Rey's, and then we got like a decked out in Mandalorian armor with the darksaber Grogu, Yoda's size, but like has like a specialized helmet.
God, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, but anyways, I guess we should focus more on this stuff in this episode.
Yeah,
Did you guys notice BD1 from the Jedi games? He got like grabbed by that rat thing. That was my geek moment of the episode. Like
I don't know any of those games. I just know like, hey, that reminds me of Dio from from Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Anyways.
So let me can I go over the plot for a second here?
Sure.
So I really like the plot of this episode in that Mando, after kind of a really cool reintroduction, he's doing this job to get information on this really cool treasure planet looking ring world, which is like it's a deep cut. Some people have been citing Halo left and right, but it was like a 70s pull, folks. It was from the 70s with Ring World. It looked really cool. For me, I keep thinking Treasure Planet because that's my go-to. But I love the visual design. I think Bryce Dallas Howard, to give her credit, whereas we did at the top here, did an excellent job directing this. She's a great director. She did the Bo-Katan introduction episode last season.
I mean, there's a reason the fan base is really calling for her to direct a Star Wars movie, and I would indeed like to see that.
Let's stop putting her in Jurassic World. And let's put her behind.
You know what I like about that idea is that it would for sure solidify, like, haha, Dad, I can make a better Star Wars movie than you can.
Oh, that's the ultimate revenge, right there. Revenge of the Howard.
Oh my gosh. Can you just imagine her gloating at like a family dinners? Whoa, Solo only grossed this much? Well, mine's setting up the brand new franchise.
You're out of the will, Bryce.
Oh,
I don't need your money. I got Disney Star Wars money.
Oh man.
I'll remind you who's responsible for Harrison Ford being in Star Wars. The guy who was in American Graffiti with them.
Shut up, Opie.
Okay, so but I like that we had kind of our opening, which by the way, I love the whole the Clantunian sort of like the I have no rights to these credits. If you let me pass, it's all yours. Classy. Just a wonderful reintroduction. But he did all this for the location of the covert. That the Navarro survivors kind of fled to, apparently. And that's what I'm saying. I like the connecting the dots of, okay, so Mando, if we're not just going to do a straight shot to Mandalore with Bo-Katan and company, it's like, well, logically, that was the unfinished business of season 1, where he was supposed to reconvene with those guys after his quest, which he did fulfill. And these are the steps he would take to get back there. And he meets the armor, and this is the thing I was really now knowing, having been through Clone Wars and everything, and you kind of get that you get what you need in the episode alone. But I like kind of because he does recap it in the episode, the House of Vizsla. So Vizsla is going to be big in season 3, it seems. So this is going to be our big bad guy for season 3 of Mando, the Jon Favreau character, which is so odd, given that Jon Favreau is obviously the of the show.
That is honestly super meta. I kind of love that.
Which is a lot. And here's the thing, Tiki. It's so because he was.
I ruined the Lion King.
But also, again, built since the beginning, because he's played this character in Clone Wars, so it's absolutely full circle. So,
God! Oh, I love it! I love it!
Okay, so just to recap the simplicity that we do in the episode here. So basically, Tar Vizsla was the guy who created the Darksaber. He was, if I recall, the original Mandalorian. He was the guy, the bare minimum, who created the Darksaber. So it has been passed down from his family for generations to the guy from Clone Wars, oddly enough, in the prequels, pre-Vizsla. That's how you remember it. You got Tar Vizsla, you got pre-Vizsla for the prequels. Right. Then you have Paz. Wow. Then you have Paz Vizsla, who's our guy now. So Paz Vizsla is basically, he wants it. The point being, Vizsla is, pre-Vizsla kind of unintentionally, in my opinion, he led to the ruin of Mandalore and everything, but he's too cocky to admit it. So he was the guy saying, we got to go back to the old ways. And he formed Death Watch, which basically is the subsect that our Mando is a part of. The whole guys are like, they go back to the ancient warrior culture that Tar Vizsla was all part of. Like, we don't take off our helmets till we ride the mythosaur and everything. That guy. So I love that Mando's always kind of locked horns with this guy, and he had like a little arc, like when he came to his aid and he healed his wound. Like, I thank you for helping me on Navarro, and of course he knows it came at the cost of all the other surviving Mandos, and it was a big thing. And the fact that they're locked in combat and probably going to have a grudge in season 3 is really interesting stuff, I think.
All right, I think we've pretty much covered about everything, right?
I'm trying to think if there's
Pele.
A what?
The Amy Sedaris character, Pele, the one who built. I mean, we saw her again. I thought you might have had.
Oh yeah, no, she was delightful actually, and I've kind of turned around on her. I actually think the more I see of her, the more I kind of get into the groove of like, all right, she just feels like a very lived in like. I really like the fact that we get the detail that she's never left the planet before, and that honestly kind of like solidifies her as like, someone who I could see like at the theme parks or something, just being like, hey, yeah, I'm here, just doing my job with my droids,
Beating my Jawas.
Right.
Such a bizarre yet funny runner, just like furry, very furry. Made even funnier by the fact that she plays Princess Carolyn on BoJack Horseman.
Oh my god! Right.
I mean, she's just great. I always love like the fact that she's just there and always like, putting stuff together and is yelling at her droids. Like she feels like the classic what type of rundown mechanic would be like in the world of Star Wars.
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
sometimes you get like scene chewers who are just like too much out there, and it's just like you don't feel like you actually live here, But then you get like her, and then who played the Imperial sharpshooter? I'm blanking on his name.
Mayfeld.
Yeah,
the Bill Burr character, right?
Bill Burr. I was thinking of a different Bill, and I was like, no, that's not right.
No. Yeah, that's Mayfeld. Well, I'm also predicting will be included as well in the
yes. Here's a prediction that I want to see what you guys what you think on. I think we haven't actually seen the big bad yet. Because think about this. We have developed the Pikes barely anything. So and we haven't had a leader of the Pikes. We don't have this is the guy who's leading the Pikes yet. So why not? Why don't we have a figurehead? It's because all these Disney Plus shows rely on a secret villain reveal in the last few episodes. It happened in the first episode, the last season of The Mandalorian, where you had Moff Gideon revealed. Ta-da! It happened in WandaVision. It happened in Hawkeye. It happened, am I thinking of something else? Oh, I guess kind of.
Well, Falcon Winter Soldier as well, and there's
exactly. So I feel like they're building it up, and it's going to be someone we know. Now, I don't know who. Maybe a different bounty hunter that we've seen before that was in the background in Empire, maybe something like that, or maybe it's something else. I don't know, but I feel like we're going to get a second last episode reveal of who the real villain is, and it's going to be like, what?
I got two thoughts on who it could be. I think the one that everyone's been speculating on, I'm inclined to assume. I think the easiest answer is Kira, who basically assumed the mantle from Darth Maul. Probably after he kicked the bucket on Rebels, from what I hear. I don't know how, but it apparently kicks the bucket on Rebels. So, so basically, she probably is the most logical thing. Plus, Emilia Clarke's doing other Disney Plus stuff for Marvel, so she's in the neighborhood. Why not? I'll tell you, I think the surprising one, if you want to go for kind of a Darth Vader-esque reveal,
Amperu. She didn't die. She got away with the storm.
Amperu, but she's a cyborg, even though she was a skeleton like that.
Oh my
god!
After they burned Owen, she grabbed the flamethrower and burned the other stormtrooper.
She faked her death because she was that clever. No, but oddly enough, I'm thinking Omega though. Wouldn't that be an amazing reveal? That would definitely guarantee you a season 2 where it's like Omega. And it might be kind of deaf ears for those maybe who are not familiar with Omega, but I don't know.
My only thing is I'm not sure if they would rely on people of watching other shows in order for them to know who the villain is. That's why I think it might be someone from the original trilogy, and I don't think it's Max Rebo or anything like that. I don't think it's. I mean, but what a twist, guys! Right?
He's been there the whole time.
No one's literally been lurking in the background of every episode.
Dear God, can you imagine if they have a legitimate villain reveal for Max Rebo?
Dude, I would love it. I would love it.
Takes the show from mediocre to best thing ever.
It would be good, but I would love it.
I think it's probably going to be the stripper or the prostitute hotel owner.
Oh, well, wait. Do you mean the? Okay, wait. Do you mean Garza, the lady who we've been seeing run the
yeah? Was it a casino? I guess maybe.
Well, it's a casino. I've been shorthand to Cantina, but yeah, the casino.
She's the only character that we've given a few things about her, but not a lot. Why did we have to stop in on her on that second episode for them to say hi, then walk outside and see the twins? That would be the only character that we have seen yet that could be revealed as the big bad.
Be really weird if it was the major domo, like the Weasley, the Weasley guy who we chased down. That
right.
Max Rebo's spy.
But yeah, I mean, I do like our flow though with just with the return to Tatooine and everything. So I mean, the whole episode I was waiting for Boba to appear halfway through, but we had Pele, which again it makes sense though. And okay, so he's gonna go to Tatooine. Who does he know on Tatooine? Well, he knows her, and of course, who else is on Tatooine? It's got I like the flow of the logic there. But speaking of the flow of logic, the big moment for me where I was geeking out and just I was so wrapped up in it, I was screaming at my TV practically was when we had a really cool challenge fight between Mando and Vizsla. And at the end, after he wins really awesomely with the vibro knife, and I love the idea that Mando, I'm worried for him during that fight because he's clearly outmatched because he has not mastered the whole heft thing with the Darksaber. It's oh no, he's outmatched and he barely won against this guy last time, but he got really savage with that vibro knife. But much like that first fight they had in season 1. after they fight, the armor checks the credo with them. Like, this is the way. Like, you've never removed your helmet. And I was like, saying, no, Mando, don't say it. Listen to Bill Burr. Don't say it. It's like, oh God, he's gonna have to come clean. He's gonna end terribly for him.
I feel like lying to that lady would be very dangerous.
It would be. It would, because I knew it was so dramatically wrapped up into like, no, he's come so far. No, don't take this away. I felt so bad for him when he's been stripped of the title that meant everything to him. So again, season 3, we're going to Mandalore to go on this fool's errand, to find the living waters beneath the mines, to become a Mandalore.
And to do that, he's going to basically have to take over Mandalore from the remnant of the Empire.
Yeah, and I mean, also, I think you teed this up earlier, LazerDude, but yeah, season 3 primarily is going to be something we've been teeing up through too. Is that he's going to have to take a stance on what it means to be a Mandalorian, because he's got the two factions. You got Bo-Katan, you got the Death Watch guys. So it's going to be like, yes, I mean, the Death Watch guys who I'm trying to redeem myself for, maybe that's not. Basically, it's going to be him defining what this is the way really means. And I think that's a really, assuming, and this quite possibly might be the case, if this is like the final season of Mando, that's a really good way to end it. If we're going to define what this is the way means after 3 seasons.
I could just see a scene where she's asking him to do something and he's conflicted, and then she says, Mando, this is the way. And he goes, it's not my way anymore, or something like that.
Can you
Takes
imagine
off the helmet?
Yeah. Can you imagine if the armor is the big bad at the end of the day for Mando?
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. She's been basically ruthless.
I mean, I can especially see it given how metaphorical Disney's gotten with their villains nowadays.
I mean, I'm only kind of half kidding. I think... No, go on.
I was just saying, it's like she always has such power in her presence, and I think it might just be like the Mandalorian's like style of like keeping your face completely covered, but she has an intimidation and respect about her that if she became a villain, like she would be one that I would actually be afraid of what she could do to our characters,
Yeah. I really want to see her go up against Bo-Katan, because those two have the absolute opposing ideologies. That would be
absolutely
fascinating to me. Because you remember Bo-Katan, the whole thing, and this is a really cool thing in the episode here. We went into it's kind of like you don't know how true this is, because again, a lot of it is it's kind of like the religion here, where it's the idea is that the Darksaber, because it was given to Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
So because it was given to her, everything fell to ruin. So she was like the example of this is why it has to be won in combat. Because if he was just given to you, you're gonna end up being Bo-Katan and ruin the whole. Everything's gonna go to crap.
And that's why her look in the last episode of The Mandalorian is so like conflicted, because she's like, do I have to take it from him by force, or do I make the same mistake that I made last time? Will people follow me a second time with a weapon that is given to me?
Yep. So again, that's what I'm saying. I'm so excited to see Bo-Katan again in some way, shape, or form, because I love that's again the Bryce Dallas Howard episode just teed up that wonderful idea of like, oh, you don't have to keep your helmet on all the time. That's like an outdated ideology. It's like, wait, there's another way to go. Yeah. Let's see. So Fennec Shan, she recruits Mando as we know, and I love the whole on the house thing. So darn classy, right? Just like, hey, on the house.
He helped get Grogu saved, and so I don't know how much that's going to be I wonder if they're going to butt heads or if everything's going to be just chummy between them, because I don't know what Boba Fett's plan is.
Well, let's go to war right now. So basically, he's expecting the Pikes to make a move, or when he first, when he challenges the Pikes, they're going to go with all-out war. So he wants to have an army. But I think it's the basic idea, but we'll see if he's got something up his sleeve.
Okay, if they don't have that Rancor just F some crap up, I'm going to be disappointed.
Well, he's got to ride the Rancor, right?
Yeah.
Because we kind of set that up like he's asking Danny Trejo to teach him how to ride the Rancor, so we got
Dragon. What if the Rancor was like the equivalent of the Owen Wilson jet ski, where
that's
it's waited until season 2?
Oh no!
Could you imagine? I could imagine.
God, you might
Danny
be right.
Trejo's just standing there like, next time, baby.
He's Terrence Howard. Oh, by the way, too, I'm eager to get your
He's
thoughts
just
on
nodding
this.
in solemn approval.
So one of my favorite things of the episode, my favorite mundane detail of the whole episode, is Mando getting on like the Starliner and has to check
That's
his weapons.
everyone's favorite detail in the episode, Dragon, and it is great. I like it.
The Rhodian kids
The
waving
one
at
thing
him.
that would have made it better is if, like, I feel like this was a good chance for them to be like, all right, this is Star Tours.
Yeah.
Star Tours.
Well, they have the
all
Star
right.
Tours robot.
I know they have the Rex.
Do-do-do.
They have the Rex units in the casino and everything.
No,
but that's
I know.
okay.
I need to see them address Star Tours in
Welcome to
the
Star Tours.
universe. I need to see
LazerDude.
it.
Just the loop and Tiki and I, we've done holiday pitches for this event we do in July, for Christmas in July, and we laid out a whole like Mando holiday special, and basically we had like the climax, Act 3's climax was all about Star Tours, man. We got the full-on Star Tours.
I would like to see that Gladiator Wookiees Life Day celebration. That'd be interesting.
Oh, that's how you do a Life Day, right? You're thinking about Black Chris Satan, man.
Dragon, tell him about Kevin Smith and the Star Tours thing really quick.
Yeah, so with the Star Tour, basically with the Mando holiday special, we set it at the Black Spire Outpost. We tied in all the ride stuff. So we had Galaxy's Edge as like the setting, and then the climax was Star Tours. And Kevin Smith, who was a big Star Wars fan, we made him kind of the silent, kind of reactionary kind of guy on the Star Tours. Is like basically Mando hijacks the Star Tours to save Baby Yoda from, believe it or not, Black Chris Satan and company, basically hired to take Moff Gideon to steal Baby Yoda back. It was a whole thing, and it was the point being you had Kevin Smith being jostled around in the back on the hijack tour, just like hilarious over the top reaction. So yeah, silly stuff. Anyway, yeah, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think we've kind of covered the whole Vissla of it all.
I was worried that he was going to open up like his thing in the Darksaber was going to be stolen from him. That's what I was worried
I know,
about.
me too. I'm glad that we didn't do
I was
that.
worried about that too, yeah.
For a change, we didn't do that. Yeah, and it's been stolen.
I mean, it's at the very least, I've questioned, these star travel things to allow you to have weapons at all. Like now, I can't even get on a plane with a water bottle for same thing. They have tiny missiles, a lightsaber, flamethrower, all that. So as long as it's in the overhead compartment.
Yep.
I'm trying to think, if there's any other details this episode.
Okay, let me ask you guys this: do you think Luke could show up in the?
Oh God, I hope not.
Well, here, okay, let me put it this way: I'm assuming that we're not going to. I'm really working the assumption that we are not going to be bold enough and like reckless enough to. Okay, we're going to dedicate the next episode to, and we're going to see Luke and Grogu. And we're going to bring him back. So I'm assuming again, he's just going to swoop in like Han Solo, which would be ironic given the whole rivalry between Boba Fett and Han Solo, in a sense of Mando showing up at the nick of time to save the day, like A New Hope, but. Based on that, do you think there's any chance of Luke in his X-wing accompanying him to help save the day? Because wouldn't that be ironic? The guy who's responsible, along with Han Solo, for knocking you in that Sarlacc pit, helping save your bacon.
Wait, you know what? Yeah, but
I don't know why Luke would do it.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't.
I just don't want to see like the CGI Hamill again.
Here's
honestly,
the thing: if they had
like, hey kids, we're bringing in Sebastian Stan, I'd be all for it at this point.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I was like, if they had plans of giving Luke his own like show or being a major presence in any show, they should have just recast him.
If they're going to do that, I'm predicting that's going to be in the Ahsoka show. If Sebastian Stan, Luke Skywalker is going to show up, it's going to be there.
Yeah, I mean. It's just because, like, Mark Hamill's not going to be around forever, but the characters will. And just because the actors or something's going to die off doesn't mean you have to have the exact same face. I mean, we can get used to it. We can get over it. It's like, and you'll have purists of everything. Is like, fine. Well, then just make your own deep dive video with Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill's face over it. Do your own thing. We don't expect us to do it. But yeah, I don't think Luke's coming into this. I think it's just going to be like a big old shootout episode for the last one where everyone's just going to be blasting all the time, and I'm okay with that. I think there will be a twist villain that will get revealed at the end of the last episode. I don't know how big of a thing will be, but I feel like it will be. Do we think that Boba Fett's getting a season 2, or is this only a one-season show?
I mean, a book always has more chapters.
Mice and Men don't.
That's a fair point.
I'm just like, sometimes it's just one book is what I'm saying.
I mean, look, when I going into the show, I was assuming a one and done. I'll be frank, but I'm just saying, given how much there's potentially left on the table, given the pacing of this season, and again, I don't mind so long as there's a guarantee of more. I don't mind like playing the slow game because it seems like everything's going to pay off, but there's still a lot more that could pay off, though, just given the villain thing we've been kind of circling around here. So I'm not sure. I did have an idea, though, for this bombastic finale they are hyping up. Let me ask you guys this. Tell me if you think this is like we've done that's too much, or like how like it will never happen in a million years. For the full circle nature of it all, and just given how Boba Fett enters this world, do you think, whether it be, I imagine, we're not going to get the guy, but do you think like whether it be someone like, I think the smart call would be let's get Jamie Costa, but I think Jamie Costa and Alden Ehrenreich, do you think we're going to get like a Han Solo aged up or somehow from like a young guy to being aged up to Han Solo?
Yeah.
And what they would do is the full circle thing of like Han Solo clearing his debt with Jabba via the new daimyo, and the two of them being okay with each other after what Boba's been through.
I don't want to see it personally because I think at this point it just doesn't fit into the plot, and I just it's.
Okay, I'm just fair. I'm taking the temperature here, so that's fair. Okay, what about you, LazerDude? Do you think any Han Solo reappearance? Because some people have been thinking Han Solo, but I've been very doubtful.
I don't think so. I think that anything like that would just be too much of a distraction at this point. I'd say these last 2 episodes are very crucial in my feelings for this show, because I'm with you guys. Like I feel it's mostly mediocre, has some good stuff. This episode, it was my favorite episode of all of them, and it didn't even have Boba Fett once, and that's not really a good sign.
It's not a ringing
I'm not
endorsement.
Complaining that it didn't have Boba Fett. I'm just saying it's not. I'm not saying that I like, oh, it didn't have Boba Fett, so I hated that. It's like, I'm just saying I like this episode the most. I had the most fun with this episode, and it just so happened to not have Boba Fett. But it's like, I don't think we're going to be done with Boba Fett after this show's over if it's just a one and done thing. I think he'll probably pop up in Mandalorian season 3, and I think he'll probably maybe pop up for one episode, and maybe Ahsoka if she needs to get trouble, hunting something down or something like that. He could pop up here and there in other shows. But I just think that, like, for the most part, they just played it safe a lot of these times. And I feel like if we just had a lot, and I don't want to just say a lot more killing, just say that and that would have fixed everything. Obviously not, but I feel like it's a lot of buildup, and if it doesn't meet that buildup, it's going to just come across as a disappointment. Just like how Hawkeye did for me. There was a lot of like, what's going to happen? Oh, and that's it, and oh, that's it. Oh, okay. Well, that's okay.
Okay.
But,
all right.
All right, so yeah, I think that kind of rounds us out, honestly. That guy, I acknowledge you. Okay. Rung my bell. All right, let's see. I think that's and yeah, Donovan, I think season 3 is going to tackle kind of religious trauma to a degree. Yeah, which is interesting. I think it's kind of where we're going with it.
Okay, so let's see. Let's do a roll call, and I will acknowledge everyone. Hopefully, I get everyone here. So that guy, Casey, Donovan, Super Billy. Let's see.
Did you say Atomic Beast?
Atomic Beast. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you. Aid March, of course. Aid March. How could I forget Aid March? I think that's everyone.
Yeah, it seems to be. Well, LazerDude, but
I didn't
Of
comment.
course, LazerDude. Yeah, of course.
I didn't well, you commented verbally.
That's true. I didn't shut up.
Yeah.
All right. So, and let me just say, guys, I am really sorry that we didn't get to all of you guys in the comments here. It was a packed night in the comments, but I'm really appreciating the discussion, and I'm honestly stoked to have all of you shown up and supporting us like you are. Just having these conversations, really humbles me that we're kind of slowly but surely growing this community out. And LazerDude, you've officially made your transition from just Survivor to the broader spectrum of geekdom in the So You Want to Be an Imagineer podcast verse. How does it feel, my friend?
It feels pretty good. I feel A+,
Right.
Disney Plus, if you will.
Okay, so that'll do it for us this week as we holster our remotes. In the next installment, calls for the draw. Mano y mano. Just Plus. And us.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Get out of here, apostate.